welcome everybody. This is the Microsoft 365 and Power Platform weekly community call happening every single Tuesday at 8 a.m. Pacific time, except in July and August. So July, August will be on break. Whenever you click the join link within your Teams invite, you will be redirected to a page where we do apologize that we are on a summer vacation. So we will not send you a cancellation of that recurrent invite because we cannot do that because we do not know who had downloaded that or added that to their calendar. So we're going to play this again within this summer. So that's kind of an early reminder on that one. July, August will be out on a summer vacation. Back on 3rd of September. You will see reminders on that one throughout the deck as well. My name is Sébastien. I'm a Principal Product Manager in Microsoft 365 platform areas. Today is June 4th, and let's get moving on things. So first of all, we'll go through a typical set of slides and recap on all of the assets which are available for you to get started in Microsoft 365 Power Platform and related topics. A lot of assets are available. We do recap a lot of slides in this section. We do understand that, but there's always new people joining on this call, so we want to make sure that everybody has access on all of the goodness and information which is available for you. Then we'll have the latest news across Microsoft blogs. Not a super active week last week, but always something to actually share and for you to read. And then we go through the group picture to get in the together mode. And after that, we'll go to the actual demos of today. So 3 demos. Luca and Nick is going to talk about integrating Microsoft Copilot to the Viva connection with Copilot Studio. Really cool topic, which we demonstrated actually in build some of the future investments. So this is not yet available for you to take advantage, but it's a great teaser on what's coming relatively soon. Then DC is going to share you the latest on the general availability on the SharePoint Pages API, which is in Microsoft Graph, which is awesome, something what we've been waiting for a long time for sure. And that is now generally available. And this is going to cover those scenarios within there. That is available, like I said, general available means that it's available for you today. And then Pape German and Sébastien Levert is going to talk about building a declarative Copilot in Microsoft 365. This is something which is also a preview, but we want to give you a bit of insights on where we are investing and what's coming in the future. So looking forward on all of the day. And double down and speed 1.25x on the intro slide, so we will definitely have time for things. Quick recap on all of the assets and URLs which are available. YouTube channel, by far the most important one. We do release new videos in there every single business days across the different scenarios in M365 and Power Platform. LinkedIn, open source, sample galleries, a lot of stuff. All of the URLs at the AKMS Community Home. That's the one centralized location where you can find all of the relevant information which you should be aware of. Look the YouTube and blocking and all of that stuff from one centralized location. Now, related on that website, we've been having this here for quite a few weeks, but it was redone pretty recently. Stefan Bauer did an absolutely magnificent job on the UI design, and then Hugo Bernier implemented the technical details on this one. AKMS Community Home is the location. A lot of new features there as well. For example, upcoming events, so you can easily see when is the next community call, or what about the next one, what's happening next week, so you can easily plan your agenda based on the upcoming events as well. Now, related on some of the changes, we did recently also rename our Microsoft 365 Power Platform Community YouTube channel to be about Microsoft Community Learning. And this is really just adjust the naming to be a bit more inclusive if we are adding more content outside of the typical Microsoft 365 and Power Platform to this one centralized location. We want to have that as a really the one-stop shop for all of the community news and updates and all of that stuff. So the new name actually kind of reflects that mental mindset there, and a lot of new content available there already today. Now, community calls, you're probably aware of the community calls because you are in a community call. This is the Tuesday one, 8 a.m. Pacific time, as mentioned. We will be, however, on a summer break in July and August. This is not because we wouldn't want to share updates for you, but it's mainly because a lot of Microsoft employees in the Northern Hemisphere will be having their family breaks and holidays during July and August, and it would be really difficult for us to provide you a sufficient amount of content for every single weekly call. So we'll rather be on a break and super clearly in July and August, and then get back on the 3rd of September. During the summertime, we will be executing Power Platform monthly community call. Already the June one is coming relatively soon, next week. Office Admin monthly community call also, and then we have our Thursday 7 a.m. Pacific time series, which will never go away. It will happen every single week and will be there for you. It's either the Viva Microsoft 365 Power Platform community call or the Viva Connection SharePoint Framework community call. Every single Thursday will be there for you if you want to hang with us and other people in the community. A lot of downloads, a lot of community calls, all can be found from AKMS community calls in URL, and you can always check the agendas advanced from the meetup at AKMS community meetup URL. For a lot of these calls, we do welcome community presenters because that's the way we learn, not by Microsoft telling you how you should be building stuff, but rather let's learn from each other. So what people have been building and how they've been using the Microsoft technologies in their day-to-day world. We have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of samples available, and we do welcome people to do demos here. It doesn't have to be open source sample. It does not have to be something what you want to share openly as a source code for the attendees. It can be a learning from a code, learning from your day-to-day work. It can be an out-of-the-box feature demo because a lot of people are missing what our products are doing out of the box as well. But the only thing, the exception here is that what we do not welcome is product demos from external product providers. So we need to be clear on that one. So it's community for community, not for selling, but for teaching other people how to use things more efficiently. We do have a lot of assets available. We do have our developer program still, unfortunately, in pause. I'll come back on that one in a second, and a lot of learning modules available in the Microsoft Learn. I really need to update those numbers because they're much higher than 91 and 100. Now, related on the developer tenant, it is now still in pause, and there's going to be updates later this year. I think in August, September timeframe, we will probably have something back and replacement. The challenge here was that people were using these free tenants in a wrong way, so we needed to actually make it in pause and rethink how are we identifying the users of these tenants. Until all of that is getting sorted out, you can get a tenant for $6 in a month by going to the AKMS M365 subscriptions and getting the cheapest option available from there. Depending on, of course, what you're building, what you're planning to use, the cost might be a bit bigger than that. But this is a great workaround for now. That sums up $72 in a month, so not a massive cost as such. Now, we have Platform Social also available, different shows. So PMP Weekly, the latest episode is already recorded with Anoop going live later today. Mondays at Microsoft is coming next Monday. It was done in 1 week before. And then the M365 Developer Podcast is something which is available as well. Really, really cool. Now, we have a lot of samples available. Go to the AKMS Community Samples URL where you can find all of the relevant samples for your really, really cool stuff as well. So please take advantage of those. As you find the sample, you might be wondering, how would I now use this sample? I'm not familiar. Where can I find people who can help me to get started, even in contributing or using the existing samples and all of that? And that's why we have Sharing is Caring initiative. And directly from LA studios, David Warner is going to recap on what is Sharing is Caring.
Thank you, Vesa. Yes, live from Los Angeles. This is the Sharing is Caring Power Hour. So what is Sharing is Caring, everybody? I'm going to talk fast, too, because it is a program that provides hands-on guidance. And that means we join live Teams calls together to learn together. They're not recorded, so it's safe space. Ask any and all questions without the fear of it being recorded. Even Todd knows you can ask anything. You can share a dad joke. It's all good. We are going to learn together and empower you to do more in the community. Use those samples, contribute to those samples, understand what that hub of Gits, that GitHub Hubs is. We're going to walk you through it. We're going to learn together. Absolutely free. We have our next session scheduled June 24th at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. So go to ak.ms/sharing-is-caring and get registered. And then once you do contribute, we want to recognize you for the amazing work that you're doing with our recognition program. This is an official accredited program where you get those badges powered by Credly. So you can associate them to your LinkedIn profile, put them on Twitter, your blog, put them everywhere, your resume. Let your boss know or your clients know you're making a difference. It's a formal and official way to showcase your contributions. So turn that Sharing is Caring into a badge, because you'll get a badge for joining those sessions. Just need you to opt in, ak.ms/community/recognition. Again, provided by the community, no charge, absolutely free. We cover all the costs for you. So please, take the time, get registered. We want to recognize you for the amazing work that you're doing. Vesa, back to you in the Finland studios.
Excellent. Thank you, LA and Finland taking over. You did a really good job on double down on the speed. So this is really good. We are catching up on the sketch.
I try.
We're going to talk fast. Anyway, a lot of content. We do have 3 demos, so we want to make sure that we go through the intro slides before that and take us to get a more picture. Now, TechCon happening actually this week, Seattle at June 3rd to 7th. The workshops are ongoing there this morning, and then DC and Dallas are happening in August and November. Great opportunities of engaging with the community. On top of that, a lot of other opportunities. For example, the Power Platform Community Conference happening in September 18th to 2024. A great opportunity to engage with the community in MGM in Las Vegas. I don't like Las Vegas, but I do love community, so that's a good excuse to be in this conference as well. Now, for rest of the world, if you cannot join on those paid conferences, you can absolutely find a closer by conference using the communitydays.org location. So this is one centralized location where you can find all of the events which are happening across the world. Some of them are free, some of them are paid, some of them are remote, some of them are in person. But please do check out all of the details from communitydays.org. Now, quick recap on the news, nothing special. Well, a lot of news and our updates in here. We're not going to go through any of these explicitly. I know already David copy-pasted the set of links directly in the chat, so you can double check the latest updates from Microsoft. A lot of news, by the way, last week within the Microsoft 365 developer blog. On the right side of the slide, you can see 6 new blog posts in 1 week. That's a lot of information. Other than that, before we go to the actual demos of today, let's flip the views to together mode, crossing fingers that everything is working properly. 1, 2, 3, together mode, get this moving. Get. Come on, teams, you can do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Come on. No. No, it has to work. Oh, there we go. Yes, we just needed to wait a while. We're a bit pixelated. Oh, where did you go? There you are. We're a bit pixelated. It's getting better and better. I will start Camtasia from here. We just needed to be patient, and we're not, IT people are not patient. We're not yet recording. I can see a bit on the middle. Rachel is already waving hands. We are a lot of waves starting soon. Let's wait a few more seconds. We'll start recording in a second. Yes, we're pixel perfect. This is good. Paul, don't move. You're moving too fast. How are you moving across the different chairs? That's really cool. Few more seats. I think we are maxed out, so I will put the recording on. Let's do some hand waving. Paul in the middle, David in the middle shows how the hand waving is happening. Sébastien there on the middle as well. Excellent. Let's do some hand waving. We'll grab a GIF animation out of this and share it in social media. Thank you for joining everybody on the community calls. Really cool to see you in here. And Seb, you are a machine. You are a robot on the middle. Excellent. And we'll grab animation out of that. Cool. I think then it's time for the real stars of the day, and we are right on schedule, even with few minutes of extra time. So we'll start with Luca and Nick talking about integrating Microsoft Copilot and Viva connection with Copilot Studio. Then we move to DC, and then Bob German and Sébastien Levert. Now, I can say Nick on the call. Do we have Luca on the call?
Yes.
Excellent. Yes. I had no doubts.
Better to check. And I didn't get the same amount of coffee that you got this morning, so I'll try to be as fast as you did, but I will.
It's my 7th class already today. You know how this works in Finland. So.
And exactly. And you folks love your coffee for sure.
That is true.
That's what they say. Nick, I know you have a deck.
Yep.
By the way, folks, thank you for having us. Nick and I will go through what we have presented the last couple of weeks ago at Build. And this is kind of an exciting topic that we are working together. Nick and the rest of the engineering team have done a terrific job building something that is tackling and basically focused on power users and citizen developers. So basically the ability to create custom copilots in Microsoft Copilot Studio and surface these copilots in Viva Connections. And one of the things about this scenario that you will see is that this is very much one of the first interpretations that we have within Microsoft is as a multi-product integration that is a Copilot that doesn't speak text, but it speaks adaptive card. So the journey here is that you start in Copilot Studio where you design your flow and you design your Copilot. You can build your Copilot by yourself. Microsoft Copilot Studio now also use Copilot to build Copilots. So interesting. This is kind of a Christopher Nolan Inception movie. But it's useful because you can start and basically ask the Copilot to help you building the Copilot based on your needs and requirements. And then you can connect to external data using one of the 1500 on plus Power Apps connectors. You can build your connector, and then you can define your prompt. And then when you design your responses, you can now start leveraging Adaptive Card so that the output from the Copilot itself is no longer text, but it's basically UX that is generated based on the flow that you designed in the Copilot. Then when you're done, you, as an operator, go back to Viva Connections, and then you can basically use the card designer card to create a connection between your Copilot and Viva Connection. You will see in the demo that Nick is about to show that you will have an option to select existing Copilots or to connect directly to Copilot Studio. Then when the Copilot, the adaptive card or the adaptive card extension is published to the organization, that is just like any other ACE. It can be used in multiple dashboard. It can use audience targeting to target specific users. And of course, just like any other ACEs, it works on Teams desktop, web browser, and mobile. So what you will see, Nick, if you can click one more time, please. Thank you very much. You basically, in Copilot, in Card Designer, you will see that you are able to see all the Copilots that have been published for Viva Connections. You will be able to connect to Copilot Studio, and then you will see that in the card, you can either promote some of the prompts that you defined in the Copilot Studio in the card view itself. So you can basically bring those prompts to a more prominent real estate if you need some of the actions to be immediately available for the user without going to the quick view. And then all the quick view that you will see are completely powered by Copilot that was built in Copilot Studio. With that said, let me put the light to the start of the show, which is Nick with his demo.
All right. Good morning, everyone. So I only had half of a coffee latte, but I'll try to be quick. So what you see right here is a Viva Connections dashboard. And we're going to kind of start our flow here. You could also start in the Copilot Studio. But you can basically now come to your dashboard, and we're going to add a new card.
Sorry, Nick,
right
can
now,
you zoom in a bit? Any chance you can zoom in a bit? It's super small.
I can zoom.
Excellent.
I'm using my extra large monitor. Okay.
Yes.
So here we're going to add a card designer card. The integration right now is going with Copilot Studio is going through this card. We're looking at in the future, potentially making an even easier option where when someone creates a Copilot and publishes it to Viva Connections, it'll actually show up as its own icon here in the toolbox. But for now, what we're going to demo is just through the card designer. So as you can see, we've added a new template type. This is for Copilot Studio. So we go ahead with this. Right now, we don't have any Copilots published, so you kind of get this little placeholder view. We're going to go ahead and click Create a Copilot, and this is going to take us over to the Copilot Studio, which is where you would actually go build your bot. That, again, goes and it's actually extremely flexible. It's sort of a GUI editor for building these workflows. You can connect to all sorts of different connectors. You can basically respond to card actions with adaptive card markup that then gets displayed in Viva Connections. And so I'm not going to quite demo that here because the bot that I'm going to show off here is a little more complicated than we could build in this demo. But here are some screenshots from Copilot Studio, kind of what it looks like. You can see that there is a stock assist bot, and then we're going to go ahead and edit this stock assist bot, and you can see that there's sort of this concept of triggers, and then responses to triggers. In this case, the response is an adaptive card. And then again, this thing might have more additional triggers, such as when a button's clicked. So you can kind of come in here and you can define specific actions that occur when a trigger event is taken. In this case, we built this special action called Get Products V1. This is actually talking through a REST API to basically a service that's going to give us a list of products that are available for our Copilot. So we can go in here, we can configure it. That's going to return some data to the bot here in Copilot Studio, and then we're going to format that data in Copilot Studio using adaptive card markup. And then once you're happy with your markup and how it looks, which you can preview over here on the side in Copilot Studio, you will basically publish your Copilot. And then lastly, what's been added is this concept of, or we've added a channel for Viva connections to the Copilot Studio. This basically lets you publish your bot to all sorts of different workflows. So you can see Microsoft Teams, Slack, etc. But publishing to Viva connections will basically tell SharePoint that the bot is available for use in the card designer, and as well as potentially in the toolbox. So once this gets published, let's go back over to here. So we'll say that this bot has been published now. Oh, and my screen size has messed up the preview slightly. Zooming in, always an issue. Anyway, so you can see here that now we've got a stock assist bot. We can sort of come in and configure some properties on this card. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. There we go. We can configure properties on this card. You can kind of make it look like however you want. So in this case, we may want to say check our inventory levels. This specific bot that we built is kind of aimed at frontline workers. It allows them to check inventory levels of particular products and potentially order more when inventory gets low. So you can imagine you're walking around on a mobile phone. You can use this nice GUI to interact with a bot that does something powerful. Again, as Luca pointed out, there's also kind of this concept of prompts. So we can elevate these high-level prompts here. This is request new order and view existing order prompts. We can bring them into the card, which is nice because that will just let you launch into a particular workflow. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and use a description text. So let's just say click this card to view inventory and awesome, right? So this card is configurable just like any other card designer card. And when we're done here, we're going to go ahead and close this card, republish the page, and we'll see down here our bot in the bottom right of the Viva Connections dashboard. So when we go ahead and click on this card, you'll now see that we are actually communicating with the bot that I've already built. And these responses are actually coming directly from the bot, which is pretty cool because that bot is also talking to external services via the connectors. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and let's say we're a new order. You see a list of products that we could order. Let's go ahead and look at the Surface Pro 10. And again, all of this is actually live communicating with the bot. I haven't actually written any code in Viva Connections. I haven't built an ACE. All we've done is define sort of adaptive card markups and event handlers for different actions that can be taken on a card. So again, we're in here. Let's go ahead and say, I don't know, we want 3 Surface Pros. Our inventory is very low, and we want some of those new AI features that were just mentioned last month. Awesome. So now we go ahead and we've successfully requested this order. Again, the bot has gone and sent something off and ordered this new product. So yeah, really cool sort of experience here for building new experiences of Viva Connections without having to write a ton of code, just writing adaptive card markup and leveraging the power of Copilot Studio, its connectors, its AI features, etc., to basically bring these awesome experiences to your end users. And with that, I will hand it back to Luca to answer any questions.
Or to someone else. I mean, we are done from our side.
Or to someone else? We're done? Okay.
Yeah, we have a tight schedule, but yeah, if you folks want to talk to us and provide message in the chat while everyone else is presenting, because we don't want to steal time from other presenters.
Yeah, I think we need to, because there's so many people in a call, it's hard to do Q&A at this point, and we would run out of time within a few minutes. But this was really, really cool. So awesome stuff. And just to call out, there's a lot of for those who are more pro developer oriented, there's a lot of pro developer integration scenarios also within the Copilot Studio side. So this way we can then really do centralized extensibility in Copilot Studio with pro code connectors and all of that stuff, and then surface UX in the Viva connection. So great option with the card designer. Now there's a few questions in the chat which we should follow up definitely during the other demos, but let's then move to DC so we don't run out of time with other demos. So let's follow up on those. Really cool stuff. And Paul Bullock is clearly volunteering on doing things, right, Paul? That should be good. But DC, we can see the screen. Let's double check the audio.
Thank you, Vesa. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Excellent. Yeah, take it away. All good.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon from wherever you're dialing from. Thank you for listening in and being part of this awesome community. Mark, Shreya, and I are here to talk about the Microsoft Graph API for SharePoint pages. We're very excited to note that just within the past month, we have GA'd the first ever v1.0 version of the Pages API in Graph. This opens up a lot of opportunities for our community and our developers and customers in how they can automate and create wonderful pages using programmatic access. And the kind of automation is very exciting for us. A lot of the feedback coming in has also been very encouraging. The current v1.0 API allows for creating and editing pages and news posts. We support 14 Microsoft provided web parts and any third-party web part to be part of the payload when you're creating or editing a page. More web part support is coming soon. Obviously, read-only actions are unlimited access to all the web parts in the page. And we also introduced validation of payload and client-side errors improvements to help with the developer experience. With that preamble, here's a introduction to the demo time. So I have Mark, who's going to go on first to cover a few scenarios, which is already available now in GA for all of you to try out. And right after that, Shreya is going to come online and do a demo of something that's been a top ask, and it's coming to beta very soon. So with that, may I ask Mark Wu, please take over the screen and do your demos.
Oh, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Let me share my screen. Yeah, I'm Mark, and I'm the engineer of Pages API. Let me bring you some basic scenario for the Pages API. First, let's see a demo page here. Yeah, actually, I'll tell you that this demo page can be created with Pages API. And just we can get some payload here. This is how the page looks like. Oh, it does not contain the web part data, so we can add some parameter to make it show in the output. Yes, here we get this payload, so we can copy this payload and create a new page with this payload. Let me edit it in VS Code. You may need to remove some metadata to make it work. And this, it's a trimmed version of this. Let's copy that. Change the method to post. Paste it here. Maybe change the name. For example, 111. Pages API demo 111. So let's post this request. You can see a 201 as the return code, and we will find this new page. Here's the link. Copy, paste. Okay, Pages API demo 111 with the two web parts. They are first-party web parts. You can also do some modification, use the patch API. Let me get the new page first. ID. Result graph. Page. So we can use patch to modify something. For example, the canvas layout. We can remove the YouTube web part here. Can remove the entire YouTube web part and click patch. Yeah, succeeded, and the web part has gone. We also add some check to prevent some errors. For example, the alignment for the button is left now, but I want to input some invalid value like, oh, I forgot the T here, left, and I run the query. Okay, there's an error, bad request, and the result, the message is that there's something wrong with the alignment. Oh, I forgot T here. And I can also, I may also want to add this unsupported web part. Actually, it is a countdown timer for the first anniversary of the Pages API, but the countdown timer is not currently supported. So if I use it as a payload, there's also a bad request indicating that the web part is not supported. That's a scenario for our first-party web part. Please remember that we only support 14 first-party web parts yet, but we will add more. But we can also support third-party web parts. Let me play a video from recorded by my colleague Yadong, and to demonstrate these scenarios for the third-party web part. Please watch the video.
Hello everyone. This video I want to show you how to add a third-party web part to a page. Firstly, we need to find the third-party web part. We can find it in the SharePoint store. For example, I search a stock web part. Then adding it to the current site. In my site, I have added it before. Secondly, back to the site page list. We need to create a new page in the UX. For example, I set the page title is sample and the third-party web part. Then add the web part for the page. In the search box, we can search for stock seller third-party web part that has been added just now. Then we need to publish the page. Thirdly, using our Pages API to get the page payload and to create a new page, we can use the list API to get all lists in the site. Then we can find the page ID and then we create just now. Copy the page ID and use the get page details API. Please note that if we want to get the web parts information, we need to and the expand parameter for this API. Okay, we get the page payload. Copy this to use the create pages API to create a new page. In order to send the request successfully, we need to delete the all data information and add the all data type for the payload. Okay, everything is great. Finally, we just need to send the post request. It will return the 201 great. Then we come back to the SharePoint UX. We can see the page has been created, and we can open it. It contains the third part, stock web part.
Yeah, basically that's how we support the first and third party web parts. So let me hand over to DC again.
Yeah, let's take Shreya. You want to take over and do the upcoming demo? So whatever you've seen so far is the V 1.0, what's recently GA'd experiences. And Shreya is going to come over and talk about what's coming to the beta API soon. We're going to be announcing it shortly. This is the first live demo.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, let me share my screen. Right, let me know when you can see my screen.
We got it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So I'm going to demo the news link and video news link API that we have with the just a basic client code in Node. So just to give you a sense of what we have before making any changes, these are all the news parts that we have. These are the pages. And this is the code, which is the implementation is in Node.js. It's a very basic sample of what we can do. I'm going to demo a few things quickly. So first, let's start with like listing all the newslink pages that we have. So here you go. These are the pages that we have. And then I have here an Excel sheet in which there are like 3 newslink pages that I want to publish, and I've customized my own title, and I have my own images that I want to upload, which are here locally. So that's what I'm going to do. Sorry, the share screen stuff is. All right. In the interest of time, I'm just going to show you the create and publish at the same time, which is basically, it calls a create and then it calls a publish. Here we go. So here we have our 3 pages, and we refresh. We see them in our newsfeed now. Similarly, you can do the same for video news links. I just had another sheet in my Excel. Done. And there you go. You have the other. So you have the video news links as well. You can, I'm showing you like basic implementations. You can definitely right here. This is a form data request. So you will be uploading an image along with just sending in the data for the other fields of the news link. And you can split it up. You can just create it. You can publish the drafts later and do all sorts of fun things. You can update the content at any point of time. So yeah, that's.
Thank you so much, Shreya. So the scenario here is where you take public internet-facing articles that you want to post as internal SharePoint news. You could have like an automation job that looks at a list of items, call the API, programmatically create the news link, upload an image, all within the same API. So that's the scenario that's coming to beta API very soon. Over to you, Vesa.
Excellent. Thank you, DC. Thank you, Shreya. Thank you, Mark. Really, really cool stuff, and awesome to see all of this available generally already. Well, except the feature stuff, the previous stuff, which is coming in the future. But awesome. Really, really cool thing. Now, from a timing perspective, we are in a really good shape. So next in our schedule, Bob and Sébastien.
Hello, hi everybody. You'll excuse me, I was playing a really cool game, so I don't really want to stop. We started a little early. Maybe you all can help me. This is a geolocator game written by my colleague Aicha Bosch, and it's a city that's a melting pot of cultures, iconic skyline, lady holding a torch. Any ideas on that?
I'll go with New York, Bob.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Let's try this, and let's see. This is live running software, by the way. Oh, look at this. This is great. So this thing just keeps asking you cool questions. A city of art, love, revolution, Iron Lady, artists, and lovers a lot. Any ideas? Anybody want to try this one?
Anybody in the chat? Paris in the chat.
What's this? Paris? Somebody said?
Yeah, Paris. Paulo and Todd went with Paris.
Oops, I spelled Paul wrong.
Look at that.
That was actually a typo, right?
Yeah, it is a typo.
My French is bad, but it's at least I knew that one. Now this is kind of a cool little Copilot thing. Is it now changes to French? All you have to do is talk to it in French, and it will pivot to the other language. So, since I really can't read it anymore, let me ask this: how many lines of code do you think this game took? Let me show it to you. And I think this is going to be pretty exciting for folks, actually. Oops, wrong screen. So here is the entire thing. It has a manifest that looks a lot like a Teams manifest, and one of the things in here is a declarative Copilot, not to be confused with DC Padur, but it's actually we call them DCs as well. And then if we look at the declarative Copilot JSON, that's it, folks. It's 4 lines of JSON with some instructions written in plain old English. Is it really code? That's a good question. I guess, yeah, I think anything that could have a syntax error is code. This does not require Copilot Studio as much as we love it. This works with Teams Toolkit or a text editor. And you just need to put these 2 files inside of a zip with a couple of icons, and you can upload it into Teams. As soon as this feature comes out, as Vesa mentioned, this is a preview. So
what was the previous file? Can you show that?
Pardon me?
Can you show the previous file?
Oh, sure. This is the manifest. And actually, we've got, I can even share the code with you, because even though you probably don't yet have the Copilot version, you need to run it. You can absolutely take a look at the project itself, the README. Aich has done a great job of writing this up. So it's just like a Teams manifest or an M365 app, but there's now a Copilot extension. Last week, you might have noticed the same thing, Copilot extension, we had a plugin, and now we have a declarative Copilot. And that's it. So, Seb, what can you tell? So, Seb is here partly because he's a good guy and partly because he actually was instrumental in getting this feature done. And we're improvising, and everything is live. So and we have no slides. So that's the way we roll here.
That's how we do things here on the East Coast. Everybody, I think I'm gonna take over the screen. I'm gonna share.
Please.
Mine. Last time you came to this audience, Bob, you showed something called the trade research plugin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Bob, I did something pretty cool. I took the plugin and I made it a declarative Copilot. So that's why you have the Trade Genie Copilot right here up there. And the Trade Genie Copilot has a couple of really nice features. For example, I can go on and ask a Trade Genie Copilot, hey, let's go and find trade consultants with a particular skill. So let me go there. Let me do the same thing. Right now, quick caveat here, we should see some what we call conversation starters that you configure yourself. Right now, they're not showing, so things happen. So here I'm gonna say find trade consultants with Azure certifications. And what it's going to do, what you showed earlier, Bob, was just based on instructions. So we're using the LLM, the large language model that lives within Copilot, to use its memory, its understanding, its intelligence, or artificial intelligence, to drive the game. Here, Copilot knows nothing about Shreya and consultants, and especially remember our motto, where it's always be billing. So we need to make sure that we can call something. So we're going to call here your plugin. So as I do that, I'm going to call into Azure. We have that API running somewhere in Azure.
Yep.
And we're going to call it, and we're going to come back with results. We're going to combine them together and give me a good list here. And this is very interesting. So now we have that. Let me refresh the screen. We're going to do it one more time. Let's see how that goes. Sorry, I'm going back to dark mode. I'm going to put it back to light mode. I think it's easier for folks to see. So I'm going back here. So I can go, it's like my declarative Copilot from here. I'm going to go the exact same thing with Azure certifications. So let's try that. And if we don't see it, that's absolutely okay. We're going to dive into the code anyway and see how these things could work. Well, maybe we don't have folks with Azure certifications, which we had a couple of minutes ago. So that's quite interesting.
But it did say always be billing. That's good. So that's, yeah.
It always tells me always be billing. So what I'll do, I'll go back and I'll showcase some of the code that we're using for that. So earlier, you, Bob, showed a really interesting way of doing things where I was able to go, let me go and view here and do word wrap. So again, we're doing a very similar experience where we're providing a set of instructions here. We're setting the tone, we're setting the context, we're reminding Copilot of always remember with the Tray motto, which is always be billing. So Copilot and the declarative Copilot that we're using will always remind the user about something. Maybe it's to go to your docs, maybe it's to always be billing, maybe it's the fun fact of the day, or celebrate the people that have a birthday today, whatsoever. So as part of that declarative Copilot, there are a couple of capabilities that we can leverage. First one is our conversation starters. Those conversation starters are how you're going to interact with the end user to prompt them, to ask them to try your declarative Copilot with ready-made prompts. So that way you can select the most useful prompts that you can use, promote them to your users so that you can use them. So if I go back here, for example, to go back to try Genie Copilot, or just even to Copilot, and here you're going to see here a series of prompts here. You will be able, with these conversation starters, to do the exact same thing. Right now, it appears that they're not.
Mine are working. I don't know what's going on, but yeah.
The demo effect, right? But we can deal with the demo effect. So that's the one thing. So a conversation starters, you will be able to do that. Other things you will be able to do is to connect a series of capabilities. By default, you can turn on 3 specific capabilities on a Copilot. The first one is it's all about grounding data, or grounding your declarative Copilot inside data. So there are 3 different capabilities. One, which is SharePoint. Here we have the ability to say, hey, you know what? Not only I want you to care about these instructions, but I also want you to care about the documents that live in that very specific SharePoint site, or in this very specific SharePoint folder. So that way it's going to use the content that lives there and inject it as grounding data to reason over as people are prompting the declarative Copilot. So
that's really big. I've been getting a lot of questions about that, kind of like, how do I keep it from finding old documents and stuff like that? And it looks like it's just a couple lines of JSON there to do that.
Exactly. Still, we haven't really coded anything, right? There are other capabilities. One of them being the web. So you can enable web search as part of it. If you want to expand the knowledge of your declarative Copilot to the web, you can also do that. And third, you can also ground it in graph connector data. So if you have if you're ingesting graph connectors in your own environment, you can also ground it. Think about it. You have a database somewhere that has a series of service tickets. Well, you will be able to bring that. It's going to also remember, it's going to apply all the security and authorization on these items, and you will be able to maybe find the most, I don't know, the most recurrent themes in your tickets and do something with it. So that could be really interesting. So these are the 3 capabilities: OneDrive and SharePoint files, web search, and finally the graph connectors. But you remember, Bob, it's not a great example because it did not call it earlier, but you can also bring your plugin data, your APIs that you're building, you can also call them. And that's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
So here we're saying, not only we're going to use the out-of-the-box capabilities that come with Declarative Copilot, we're also going to extend it with actions. And these actions are in the form of plugins. So the same plugin you used last week is actually available as part of this specific Copilot. And here, it's just going to go in there and identify what is possible thanks to the plugin that was created, where I know what I can actually have. I can get consultants, I can get user information, I can get projects, I can post billing hours, which is important because we need to remember our motto, right, Bob? Always
yeah, you know, and you know what I like about this? So having been playing around with plugins for a while, that little thing, that box that opens up the plugins, I call it the plugin panel, but I don't know if that has an official name. You know, getting a user who is not the most tech savvy to click that button and know which plugins to use can be a little bit of a challenge. you know? And the way I think of this is every human in this meeting, every human I know has some concept of specialization. So if I walk into a building and I talk to whoever's at the front desk, that's like Copilot for M365. Now I have a question specifically about our consulting group. I don't want to ask the receptionist, right, who has access to everything in the company now, and I have to word my question very carefully to make sure the receptionist knows I'm asking about consulting group. Here, everybody has the idea of, oh, I'm going to go talk to the consulting expert. I'm going to go talk to the HR expert. I'm going to go talk to some other expert. And then you've trimmed down the information. You've specified what APIs to use. You've given it specific instructions. And there's your expert. And now you can just say, who should I assign for Azure project? And it's going to know that you're talking about that scope of the consulting group and which API to use, etc.
Exactly. And not only it's going to know, but on top of that, as a developer, you will be able to tap into the Copilot knowledge on top of it. So you're going to be able to bring capabilities or data coming from SharePoint and assign it through your APIs. It's going to be able to flow the content from one to the next. Something also which I see as a question in the chat is where's the AI model here? Where is the OpenAI thing? Where's GPT whatsoever? Well, in this case, and that's one of the beauty of declarative copilots, you're actually running on Copilot. You're running on the model that Copilot hosts for you at no cost. You just need to have the license, and that is
there's
it.
a cost. I mean, there's a cost, but presumably this is going to be for people who are already going to use Copilot inside their organization. And then there's no additional cost. And if you're the ISV, your customer is paying that cost.
Absolutely. And let's talk very quickly about that ISV thing you just talked about. Is how do you get started? How do you actually get that app running? So this is still in preview. So right now you will not be able to utilize any of these things, but I want to give you a little bit of a glimpse of what's coming up. So we have built this capability inside the Teams toolkit. So that's going to require the latest and greatest version of the Teams toolkit. What you're going to do simply, you're going to use our CLI very soon. We're going to also have the same experience in the UI, where you're going to say Teams app new, and where one of will be to select a declarative Copilot. Let me show that a little bit like this. So it's, whatever. So you're going to be able to select a declarative Copilot. Do you want to have a declarative Copilot, which is just a skeleton without a plugin, or do you want to also have it a plugin that is using Azure Functions? So we're really making the pro code experience super simple. Let me go to the basic declarative Copilot very quickly. I'm gonna say, let's say M365 demo. It's gonna create it very rapidly, and now I can just do code on the M365 demo, and you're gonna have a fully scaffolded and available declarative Copilot already in there that has all the bits and pieces you need to get started. So that's really your starting point from where you can expand on, and your app package is available here where you have your declarative Copilot.
Look at all that code. Wow.
You look at that. 4 lines of code. Boom. Copilot. And that's really where we want to focus your attention. Is there is a lot of high level gain to do with that. Lots of the cost benefit here is amazing, because in a very few number of lines of code or JSON, and then if you involve plugin, you actually have real code. But really, really rapidly, you will be able to generate these kind of things. And very rapidly also, you will be able to go in here, provision that, and be able to see that directly inside M365 and in your Copilot app. So that's what we wanted to showcase today. I hope this is useful. We're looking at somewhere this summer for the experience to be available. We're definitely we're going to come back here to let you know that it's all available for you to try it out.
And yeah, these do work in the App Store to Drew's question, actually. So these can run. These can be sold in the App Store when they come out. So sorry, I know we're running over. Back to you, Vase.
Okay.
all good things happen when you are excited about the features which we are shipping and showing. It's incredible stuff. So thank you, Seb, and thank you, Bob. Really, really cool stuff, and really making things easy. And again, let's making it easy also means that now we can focus on Azure functions, we can focus on other elements. This is not reducing the pro code opportunities, we're just making this UX layer and configuration with LLM easy so that we can refocus the pro developer skills on other areas for sure. So it's a good reminder. So simplifying certain things doesn't mean that we come to be not valued anymore. No, it means that we can focus on other areas. We had earlier today a discussion related on simplicity of the coding and, for example, using LLMs for some of this stuff. I started my coding hobbies and coding studying with assembler, which was basically figuring out the CPU layers and how do a memory handling and all of that stuff. We don't need to worry about any of that stuff in C#. In future, we don't need to worry about certain other things as we take, again, another layer of abstraction into use with LLMs. So it's all about, again, abstraction on top of abstraction. Developers definitely still need it, and I would not be concerned at that. Really, really cool opportunities. Awesome. Great demos today. Awesome stuff across the board from Luca and Nick and DC and the team, and also Bob and Seb. Thank you for that. Now, next week, we have already at least 2 demos queued up. Might have a third one, might not. I think we'll probably stick in 2 because we'll easily run out of time. So Milan Kaur is going to talk about click to call Teams in Azure Communication Services. So really, really easy way of doing Teams calls in Azure Communication Services for B2C and B2B scenarios. And then Luca is back with Sudha Narayan to talk about click to Copilot. So you can actually create Copilots directly within a SharePoint site with the click of a button in future. This is something what we showed also in Build. You can just select a few set of, for example, 1 or 2 documents and say, create a Copilot. And voila, you will have a Copilot, which you're able to modify, you're able to transition that, you're able to chat with that, you're able to include that in Microsoft Teams chat and all of that. So awesome new kind of scenarios, which are all coming as an announcement from Build. More on that one next Tuesday. In the meanwhile, you can absolutely join and engage with our community in multiple ways. For example, using our Discord server, we are hitting already 2,100 attendees in here. A lot of additional people joining all the time. Awesome to see the interest. We are also always looking for feedback around these community calls and community engagement. So please, if you have time, please answer that form. It will help us to keep on these calls ongoing in the future as well. Now, this call was recorded. It will be published in the Microsoft Community Learning YouTube channel within 24 hours, typically a bit less than that, but it's just in case 24 hours. So please subscribe there today, and we'll absolutely share updates in the Twitter, in social media, in LinkedIn, all of the locations whenever the recording is available. Next call, June 11th. All of the community calls at AKMS Community Calls. And that's it for today. Thanks everybody for joining. Awesome demos, brilliant stuff. Thank you everybody for great Together Mode picture. We'll be back on Thursday, Thursday 7 a.m. Pacific community call, and then next Tuesday on this series as well. Thank you everybody. See you around. Bye-bye.